We continue our team coverage right now on the Maryland Piedmont project's evolution since last year.
As landowners await a ruling from a judge on whether developers should have access to private property to conduct land surveys, Gary Collins from our Spotlight on Maryland team examines what led the state to this point.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask if you could calm down or we could take a break.
For months, residents of Baltimore, Carroll, and Frederick counties filled school gyms.
You're ruining my retirement and my life. There are other ways. You need to find them.
Agricultural centers.
And so what you've seen us do today and what we really did starting October.
And crowded hotel ballrooms.
Pick up your toys, hit the pike, go down to. Also, Brooks, we want to save our farms.
All to voice their opposition loudly to the Maryland Piedmont Reliability Project. PJM, the electric grid operators, repeatedly told us the reason for new transmission lines in Maryland, like the MPRP, is because power plants like this one here, Brandon Shores, are rapidly closing. Fossil fuel power plants that do not comply with Maryland's green energy priorities.
There is absolutely an energy crisis, and that crisis is the creation of failed energy policies in states other than Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania State Senator Kristen Phillips-Hill told us 2 weeks ago that green energy priorities in neighboring states are costing her constituents more money, and she's had enough.
Out in Frederick County, Maryland, they're citing an AI data center that will demand and consume the exact same amount of energy in 1 year that the Brandon Shores facility would have generated.
A concern the senator says is amplified by the MPRP that she says is a long extension cord from her state's natural gas power plants to electrify the data center industry in Northern Virginia and a small, budding quantum site in Frederick.
You can't continue to close down baseload energy generation and cite high-demand energy consumption facilities and expect that something's not going to give.
A similar concern.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started.
That prompted State Senator Karen Lewis Young of Frederick County to file legislation to form a study group to evaluate the impacts data centers may have on the state.
Another thing we really need to understand is what effect increased energy demands and the transmission connected with that has on ratepayers.
Lewis's bill passed the Senate unanimously with only 5 objectors in the House. Governor Wes Moore announced on Friday he'll be vetoing the study. The project's now here in a federal court between Maryland landowners and a New Jersey-based power company that's looking to get early access to Marylanders' land before the project's permitted. We pressed Governor Wes Moore's communications director, David Turner, so whether or not he believes that the project should be paused, including whether he would call for the project to be paused by his Maryland Public Service Commission.
Why won't the governor call for a pause of the project? He seems to be concerned about the process, but he will not call for a pause to the project. Why?
Look, the governor understands that there has to be sustainable, cost-effective infrastructure to ensure the reliability of the grid and also make sure that we build an economy for the future of the state. But this approach has to put people first and has to take community involvement. And that's why he's expressed his concerns about how that process has happened.
Just follow up on that, though, it sounds like the governor is not calling for a pause to the project. He's calling for a better process. Is that a fair assessment?
I think I've been clear with my answer, Gary.
So the answer is?
The answer is exactly what I just said. He recognizes the need for sustainable infrastructure and also the importance of community input, and he's going to continue to recognize that.
As the Maryland Piedmont project's future remains murky at best, we'll continue to follow closely and demand answers for you. I'm Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.